The New York Knicks are absolutely stargazing. Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, OG Anunoby, even Giannis Antetokounmpo. The New York Knicks' eyes are focused on all of those stars around the league. And they're definitely keeping their eyes on some of the major stars in Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And according to one NBA insider from ESPN, he lists the New York Knicks as one of the main teams to watch if Giannis does leave Milwaukee. And not only that, he's not the only NBA insider who states that. Another NBA insider believes that the New York Knicks are going to make moves with Giannis in mind. And in my opinion, that may be a very bad move. We're going to look into this and so much more today on the Knicks Digest. The Giannis Antetokounmpo watch clock is officially on. Everybody is now going to wait to see if Giannis signs the extension. Obviously, we don't believe that he will. And then after that happens, what happens if Giannis becomes a free agent? Well, according to ESPN's Zach Lowe, he believes that the New York Knicks are actually keeping an eye on Giannis at the moment. This is really not a surprise. The New York Knicks are going to keep an eye on every single superstar around the league and see how they are with their franchise and that relationship. If they sense even a crack, they're going to pounce and see what it would take to get that star as a New York Knick. And this is not a surprise. It's every team is like this in the NBA. The Knicks would do this. The Bucks would do this. The Boston Celtics would do this. The Philadelphia 76ers would do this. Whoever you are in the NBA, you're watching every star in the league. So the New York Knicks are not foreign to this. They're not the only team that's going to do this. However, according to Zach Lowe of ESPN, they may be one of the only teams that are listed as the favorites for Giannis if he does leave. According to Zach Lowe, he states that if the Bucks and Giannis can't come to an agreement on their extended future together, he's reporting that a few preliminary teams to watch would be at the very least the New York Knicks, the Toronto Raptors, the Brooklyn Nets, the Golden State Warriors, and the New Orleans Pelicans. And if you noticed, the New York Knicks were at the top of that list, likely because major market for a major superstar in Giannis. I'm surprised that the Los Angeles Lakers weren't up there or weren't listed because they also have a major market. And I think it was NBA insider Mark Stein who actually first reported that if Giannis were to leave, that the New York Knicks and the Lakers have the best chance of getting him due to the major markets and how they play a factor. In my opinion, though, I don't think that the major markets play a factor anymore. However, if this was the only NBA insider to report this news, maybe I wouldn't have much more to say. But he's not the only one. Because according to another resident NBA insider, Ian Begley, he also states the New York Knicks are absolutely watching the Giannis moves, but they may be watching Giannis and making moves in preparation to get him. According to Ian Begley, if I had to guess, I'd assume that team president Leon Rose and company will make moves with Giannis in mind. But I don't think the Knicks will take a Giannis or bust approach over the next 18 months. Right or wrong, Leon Rose's Knicks have shown in the past that they aren't married to the idea of acquiring any one player. Now that last part of the report actually is music to my ears. The New York Knicks should absolutely not build with Giannis in mind. I'm not saying don't go after Giannis. I'm not saying don't watch the situation. Every good team president, every good GM is going to watch everything going on around the league, all the stars, how they feel, and how to help their roster get better. So I'm not trying to knock what Leon Rose is doing here. However, if they're going to plan to make moves with Giannis in mind, 18 months. However, if they're going to plan to make moves for Giannis 18 months out, before we can even have a realistic conversation about it, that is not a winning move for success. Because you can build everything for that star. But what happens if that star doesn't come? Am I the only person that remembers when LeBron James was supposed to be a free agent? He was supposed to come to the New York Knicks, but instead went to Miami? And remember everybody talking about it, everybody seeing how realistic it could be, the New York Knicks actively preparing, hoping that LeBron James would come to New York. This is the same thing, only we're replacing LeBron's name with Giannis's name. And I'm not for that. you keep selling me hopes and dreams, and there's only so many times I'm going to buy it. Would I want Giannis on the New York Knicks? Absolutely. Is it a dream? Yes. Pipe dream? In my opinion, absolutely it is. The New York Knicks don't have a shot of getting Giannis, and in my opinion, it's because I don't think Giannis wants to leave. I don't think Giannis wants to go anywhere. And again, I understand Zach Lowe, ESPN, NBA insider, definitely well connected around the league. I understand that. So I believe what he's saying. I think if Giannis were to leave, the Knicks would be one of the teams that he might go to. But he listed a number of teams. And of course, all of the teams you see here would be interested in getting Giannis, not only the Knicks, but also with Ian Begley. Even though he mentioned that the New York Knicks are going to look at the Giannis situation, it's not Giannis or bust for them. They're not going to keep making each and every move to try to get Giannis, especially if it's clear they're not going after him or they don't have a shot at getting him. We saw with Paul George earlier in this offseason. To an extent, we saw that with Donovan Mitchell last summer. The New York Knicks are not married to the idea of getting any one player. Would they like these players? Absolutely. But if something happens that derails the deal, switches it, changes it, makes it different in some way, Leon Rose and company are going to look at it, decide again, and if it doesn't make sense after that update, they're not going to make the move. Leon Rose has been doing this since he took office for the New York Knicks in 2020. This is not really a surprise if you've been following the New York Knicks and their moves. And they're really only going to make moves to not gut their roster, but to help improve it. Leon Rose being as cheap as he is in terms of making deals, because he doesn't want to get fleeced or give up a lot of assets for the New York Knicks to make a move to get a player of significance to help them contend in the East. So because of that, I really can't see Leon Rose even trying to do business with the Bucks. There would have to be so many factors happening around that situation for Leon Rose to actually get Giannis. It's a nice dream, nice pipe dream, but in my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen. But then a lot of people are asking, why actually is the New York Knicks listed as one of the top teams to get Giannis? Why are the Knicks seen as the favorites? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, we can look across the board. One of the main reasons is because Giannis made it so, stating the following in a recent podcast interview that he was on. I am a Milwaukee Buck, but most importantly, I am a winner, he said. I want to win, and I have to do whatever it takes to win. And if there is a better situation for me to win the Larry O'Brien trophy, I have to take that situation. That was the first domino for Giannis in terms of what started all of this. Because you had the New York Times interview that caused definitely a stir and a ruckus. But then when you saw him on video making these comments, making these statements, it absolutely took everybody by shock, by storm, had the NBA world talking, and obviously that caused the first domino. But the reason that the New York Knicks are always going to be seen as a favorite, not only to land Giannis, but nearly every superstar, is because they have the assets to do it. And thanks to Sports Illustrated, they highlighted the following as well too. The Knicks have a ton of young talent, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, that they could include in a hypothetical trade with the Bucks. Milwaukee would enter a rebuild of sorts if Antetokounmpo ends up being traded, but could arguably get the most from the Knicks in a deal compared to the other teams rumored to be interested. That's very true, and one thing to note is that Milwaukee 2025 first round pick, although protected, still owned by the New York Knicks. It's a chance it could convey for the Knicks, and if it does, and they get a top tier pick, Milwaukee will have a lot of egg on its face. It might benefit Milwaukee to do business with the Knicks if and when the Milwaukee Bucks superstar and Giannis asked out. But if that doesn't happen, they really have nothing to worry about. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are absolutely committed to building around Giannis, making a championship contender around Giannis, and ensuring that he stays a Milwaukee Buck for his entire career. In that same interview, he said that he wanted to stay with Milwaukee. He loves Milwaukee. He wants to end his career with Milwaukee. So it's clear he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay with Milwaukee. The reason he made these comments were to put pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks so they know that he's not playing games. He wants to win championships way more than just one time, and he wants to make sure they're doing everything in their power to surround him with talent to make sure he can get the best opportunity to win another championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. But if he senses that's not the case, he's gonna leave. and we have enough information to point that out. But what about you guys? What do you think? Is this a power play from Giannis? Do you agree with me? Or do you think the New York Knicks actually have a realistic shot to get one of the, arguably, best player in the NBA today in Giannis Antetokounmpo? Let me know in the comments because I would love to hear from you. But until next time, Knicks fans, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on for the Knicks Digest. My name is Troy. I'm out of here. Until next time, guys. Peace.